One time.
Wanda, I also want you to give the Wanda James report card to this industry, because here you are, a woman, a black woman in this industry making things happen. And many have talked about how this new industry provides an opportunity, you know, because it's brand new, it's risen from nothing. It provides an opportunity for women and ethnic minorities to be a part of it, to own businesses, to have management roles. So if you are giving existing legal weed industry a report card, let's say, for its inclusion of women and its inclusion of ethnic minorities, what would these grades be as we approach this dawn of 2016?
You know, and that's a harder question to kind of go out and then just say, you know, oh, we're doing great with women and minorities, because we're not. It's predominantly white male driven. However, I don't believe that that is necessarily the fault of those in the industry. I have yet to meet anybody in this industry that has had any issue or has treated me or my husband poorly because of being the only blacks or women in this industry. I don't have those types of issues. However, when you look at the industry as a whole and the way that rules are written, and even the way that some of the bigger, I shouldn't say some of the bigger, but some dispensaries want to make sure that they keep competition out, what that effectively does is it does stop people who don't have the same types of access to cash that white Americans may have. They may be able to go to their parents and get money, because as you know, with capital in this industry, we can't go to a bank.
Sure.
So you have to be able to find ways of funding your business either through family relationships, business relationships. I mean, you've got to try to figure all that out, which is really difficult, and especially the kind of money you need to open a dispensary these days or an edible company. It's very difficult to find that cash. Then on top of it, almost every state has laws based on who can own dispensaries based on arrest records.
Sure, previous criminal history.
Previous criminal history. And what have we seen with black and brown people in America? We get arrested at 85% more than the average white person out there will get arrested, even though we all seem to smoke at the same amount. So when you have those kind of racial disparities of who's getting arrested and who doesn't have a family lawyer to get them out of the simple possession case, you may just be writing yourself out of the ability to own a business. So the amount of blacks and Latinos that can own businesses is dramatically diminished. So that makes it much tougher for people to get in. And then you also look at a lot of how we as black folks look at the cannabis business. And unfortunately, our churches and a lot of our politicians don't feel positive. But that's changing, because I think over the years now we're starting to see that there is real business happening here, and it's time to get involved. But slowly
and you see
but
that
surely.
change happening within the African American community?
I do. A couple weeks ago, I was invited to speak in Los Angeles to a group of legislators that want to understand how to, bring this to their cities, states, municipalities. So slowly but surely, it's changing, but definitely slowly. So there's a number of things that definitely need to happen to build up minority ownership in the cannabis industry, because it really is lacking right now.
Well, let's get to those grades then. For women and for ethnic minorities, what's the arbitrary, or the somewhat arbitrary grades that you would give the cannabis industry at this point?
I would give it a D for minority ownership.
A D?
Yeah, because we're so far off the mark. We have so much to do to make that right. Women, on the other hand, I would give us a C+. I mean, because even here in Colorado, I mean, we're seeing what we think is probably about 23 to 25% ownership, female ownership. But once again, that's just another organization that looked at weed maps and tried to figure out who owned what, because we don't have those numbers.
Very inexact.
It's exactly, because we don't have those numbers. But it is an industry though where I do see women gaining in power, because women are hard to argue with when it comes to the whole legalization piece. If I'm a mom and I'm standing in front of you with a sick child, what are you going to tell me? I'm a stoner and that's why I'm fighting, because I have a sick child.
Right.
Or if I am a woman and I happen to be a stiletto stoner and I enjoy cannabis, it's not for some reason as daunting as people want to argue against young men who smoke. So I think that women are the real power to changing how people view this industry, and I think we're taking our rightful spaces, and especially with Women Grow and people like Jane West, that are just changing changing the whole image behind where we're at. So women, I would give a little bit higher grade. Still have a long way to go.
Yeah,
but I would
sure.
give us a little bit of a higher grade for women.
Well, I can't wait for 10 years down the line so we can
It'll be A
see
all the
how
way
all
then.
this shakes out. Oh, how great a world would
I
it
know.
be if it
I
was an
think so.
A? Well,
I think so.
we'll check in with you.